Hey everyone, it's Strange Michael. I hope you're doing well today. I have another horror movie haul here for you. After about a month of not doing one, I've been picking up other stuff like some games for PS2 and some other things that are non-horror related, so I haven't really had much to show you until this past couple of weeks where I picked up a couple of new things, and I wanted to hold off and show you guys some cool stuff. So anyway, I don't just have movies here, I have a couple of seasons of TV as well that I'm familiar with. Most of the things in here I'm familiar with in some way, shape, or form, so hopefully they'll be good, especially the things I haven't seen before. So I guess I'll start off with the one of two Blu-rays that I have here. This is for a series that I've really loved back in the day. I haven't seen the fourth, or I think even fifth entry of the series, but I really loved the first three when I was growing up, mainly one and the three, this being the third of the series, Underworld: Rise of the Lycans. Now, I love Underworld. It's, for people who don't know, who are too young to know, who might be watching this, it was a vampires versus werewolves story. This is a prequel, though, to the first two films, and I think the first one's probably easily the best to me. When I saw this back in the day when I first got into that original trilogy before we had a fourth and fifth movie, I really loved this. I thought this was the best one for some reason, but in hindsight, I think number one is the best. These were very, very blue movies. They were very much Matrix wannabe movies. They were inspired by that. The studio just caught some inspiration off of the Matrix. Yeah, I believe that. But anyway, these were kind of cool. This being a prequel, it's actually set during medieval times, whereas Volume 1 and 2, Movie 1 and 2 were taking place in modern day at the time, like 2002, 3, whatever. And they were cool. I'm really excited to go back and rewatch this. I haven't seen it in so long. It's been over 15 years since I've watched this movie, probably. And I remember digging it. I like vampires and werewolves. A lot of people have probably asked me in the past, too, in some comments sections, whether I'd ever cover this for the channel or not. And I decided I will at some point, because these are more horror, laying towards horror, I guess you could say. Horror adjacent, I don't know. They're kind of action movies, but they have the horror elements. Just like Van Helsing, the Universal Monsters reboot many years ago with Hugh Jackman playing Van Helsing, which I love that movie, by the way. Movies like that were inspired by that kind of Matrix, heavy CGI-focused movie, that time that we had, that era of movie making, and I will totally review that for the channel, so I feel like these movies, Underworld, are probably okay to talk about here. I think a lot of people aren't going to complain about that. Anyway, moving along, I found this in the $5 bin. I think I had heard about it at one point, and I really wanted to see it because I am a fan of both of these properties. Sadly, I did not see that my copy that I picked up was beat to hell in the Walmart bin. The bottom of it is cracked and everything. Anyway, this is Straight Outta Nowhere, Scooby-Doo meets Courage the Cowardly Dog. Now, you may say, are you going to review cartoons now for this channel? Well, I have some different ideas about that. It is the summertime. It's also the time of the year that I do watch things like Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island every once in a while. And I do want to cover stuff like that for the channel. I have a lot of Scooby-Doo fans on this channel, and also Goosebumps fans who came from my Goosebumps channel over here. So maybe I will cover this sometimes. Maybe it'll bring in some new viewers to have kind of this Courage the Cowardly Dog stuff, or the Scooby-Doo audience come over, because I loved both of these when I was growing up. I don't know what they're going to do with this, how they're going to make that work. Hopefully it's good, hopefully it's not too stupid, like the really rough Maxwell Atoms, the creator of Billy and Mandy, Scooby-Doo Halloween TV movie thing that came out years ago. That was so bad, dude. I don't know how that happened, how Maxwell Atoms got stuck in that position, but he deserved better. But Scooby-Doo meets Courage the Cowardly Dog. And what is it with the title, Straight Outta Nowhere? Is that a Straight Outta Compton joke? Why did you make that joke? What is the title to this? Is it Scooby-Doo meets Courage the Cowardly Dog, like Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein? Or is it Straight Outta Nowhere, colon, all of this other shit? Let me know down below. But have you seen that? Isn't it any good? I'd love to hear that down below, because I have a mild amount of hope for it. Recent Scooby-Doo has not been good from what I have seen of it, whether it be the shows that I see sometimes on, like, I think it's Boomerang it comes on when I go in Tennessee and actually have Boomerang for like a week. But anyway, I hope it's better than what I have seen in recent years of Scooby-Doo stuff. I know that's fairly recent, like 2018, 2019, as late as that, you know? Anyway, another thing I picked out of the Walmart bin for about $5 was something I've really wanted to see. I have always remembered seeing moments of this in the Bravo Scariest Movie Moments, or Top 100 Scariest Movie Moments special when I was a kid, that introduced me to a lot of, number one, great scares, but number two, great movies that I had never heard of growing up as a horror fan. This is a trilogy set right here that, when I would see this at FYE on, like, Blu-ray, it was running for, like, $75, $80, and I was not about to pay that. I thought these were heavily out of print or something like Sleepaway Camp, but no, I got the It's Alive trilogy. It's Alive 1, 2, and 3, or It's Alive, It Lives Again, and It's Alive 3, Island of the Alive. Sounds like a terrible title. I heard from my boy on YouTube, one of my favorite reviewers, called Rambo Raff for Life. If you haven't watched his content, you should. I actually was talking to him, not directly like on video, but in the chat of his recent live stream he did a couple of days ago on the weekend. I think it was Sunday night when I bought this. And he said he kind of likes number 1. He said 2 and 3 were bad, so I don't know. Maybe it'll be good, maybe it'll suck. We'll see. Let me know what your thoughts about all this stuff, like I said, are down below, especially It's Alive, because I remember seeing a clip of like a hospital room thing from that movie, the first one, on that Bravo thing, and that's something that was stuck in my head, because it was pretty shocking as a kid to see that, because I was probably 10 when that premiered on TV in like 2004, 2005. It's also the thing that introduced me even more so to wanting to watch Child's Play, the Chucky franchise, because of that scene that I saw from the Bravo Top 100 Moments. Anyway, the next thing here is a series that I'm kind of debating on covering very soon. I thought about possibly covering this series immediately after I finish Final Destination's reviews. I haven't really decided. You guys can kind of let me know your thoughts on this or what you would like to see next down below. But as my channel title will tell you, I'm a huge fan of Night of the Living Dead, and this is a remake from Tom Savini. Yeah, the guy who does a lot of makeup and stuff for many movies like The Prowler, Friday the 13th. I love Tom Savini. Great, great guy. I saw this movie one time and I started watching it again like 2 years ago on Tubi or something, and it got removed before I could finish it. But I watched it for the first time probably 10 years ago, and I was not into it at all. I thought the original was way, way, way superior, as I do right now. But I've heard in recent years from people like the Skeleton Crew podcast, when they were still doing their shows, that they seem to really like this. I know a lot of channels on YouTube that I talk to that are horror-centric really like this remake. I love the poster. The poster's pretty sick for like a quick movie that I found for $3, by the way, at Big Lots. I got some stuff right here I'm going to show you next from Big Lots, and this was one of the things that I was so excited to pick up because I wanted it cheap. But I am thinking about talking about these movies after the Final Destination series. I had thought about a lot of things, like I Know What You Did Last Summer, because there's a potential remake coming out at some point, not because of the show, but there's a potential remake of that happening. I thought about Cabin Fever. I talked about Creature from the Black Lagoon, which I still might do as a kind of in-between Final Destination and the Night of the Living Dead series, or the Living Dead series, or whatever. It used to be a trilogy of films. It is not anymore. Basically, every film in the franchise has had remakes and sequels. Did you know there's a Day of the Dead 2? My boy Horror FFA told us all about that, and I never knew that until he said it in a video a long time ago. Check out his channel, too, alongside Rambo Raff for Life. But yeah, I'm hoping that that movie number 1 will be better than I remember it. I remember the gore being okay in it, not great, but okay. The zombies looking better than most of the Dead trilogy. But I don't know. There's so many movies in that series like Diary of the Dead, Survival of the Dead. I'm not going to talk about the Return of the Living Dead and act like that's part of the franchise, just because it was from the same story by guy. But anyway, moving along though. Let me know your thoughts on that. What do you think the next thing I should cover this summer should be? This I picked up from Big Lots as well, I think for like $2 or $3. Probably $3, I would say, because of inflation. It would have been like $2 back in the day when I worked at Big Lots. But anyway, this is Last Shift. If you haven't seen this, you're missing out. I don't remember if I reviewed this for the channel or not, but there was a recent remake from the same director with a little bit of a different budget, maybe a little bit of a bigger budget, not much more, but enough to make a difference. And this is an independent horror film. It's not found footage or anything, but basically there's a young lady who is working kind of her first shift ever as a police officer, security guard, whatever, mainly a police officer, at an old station that used to be open that's now moved to a different part of the city. And there's a potential that there could be some crazy cults and, just bad people in general, criminals in the neighborhood that could come to this place, maybe the homeless, something like that. And there was a rumor that this particular station that the police moved out of to go to their new station is haunted for some reason. And there's some pretty grisly, creepy stuff in here. It's not the best thing ever. I do think that in some ways I like the remake. I forgot what it's called. It's named after the main bad guy in the movie. And I kind of like a lot of stuff in there better than I like this, but this feels more raw. This feels more real in some ways, despite the potential supernatural stuff. I don't want to get into it too much in case you haven't seen the movie. But Last Shift, if you have not seen this and you're a fan and that concept sounds kind of cool to you, let me promise you that the promise of that premise holds up, man. Really, really good flick. I recommend it highly if you haven't seen them before. Especially you, BD, from the BD Horror Tavern, as his new channel is called. You need to watch Last Shift and its current remake thing. I can't remember what it's called. It starts with an M. What is it called? Anyway, it doesn't matter. This film right here I picked up for about $4 on Blu-ray, and I was so excited, dude, when I found it, because I saw this a while back. I can't remember if I reviewed this on this channel or if I had an old review that I took down before I kind of revamped this channel a couple of years ago. But this is a movie that I adored. I thought it kicked so much ass. Open 24 hours. My boy Brendan Fletcher from the Werewolf of Fever Swamp episode of Goosebumps is in this. He's also made some awesome public shooter movies called Rampage 1, 2, and 3. They're amazing. Go check his other content out, but he stars in this as well. Not as the main character, but as one of the side characters. Basically, we have a young woman who's working a gas station overnight third shift job by herself. And weirdos come in and out, weird things can happen, and there's kind of like a thriller slasher aspect to this. Basically, somebody shows up, they start trying to attack her, they try to break into the place. It is a fantastic watch. If you like movies like the Josh Peck movie, ATM, that I also recommend, it's very much like this, you'll have a great time. Brendan Fletcher was great in it. Everybody was good in it. It was such a surprise to me the other year when I saw this on like Tubi or wherever I saw it, Prime. I don't remember where I watched it originally, but it was awesome. I had it in my Amazon list for probably a year now to finally at some point pick up. I was going to pick it up during Christmas, but I had a lot of other stuff I wanted to get, like Dolly Dearest, and I grabbed this, and it was so shocking to see this in a Big Lots for $4, dude. So hit up Big Lots, man. They have some great deals on stuff like that. This is not a promotional from them. This is me telling you, I worked there at one point. I would find random stuff like the not-so-bad Donnie Darko sequel. I love that store when it comes to the movies. Not so much other stuff, but movies, hell yeah. And here is something I picked up a while back, like right after I made my previous movie haul video. For $3, I got The Following Season 1. Now, if you have not seen The Following, this is a really cool show. I'm not a big TV guy, many of you know that, whether it be my reviews for the, what was it, Evil Dead show, Ash vs. Evil Dead. I'm not a big TV guy. Something has to be pretty special for me to like it. This was like a 3-season show, and I saw the entirety of the first season when it premiered in TV, on cable. And yeah, it wasn't the biggest budget thing ever. It was kind of a small comeback for Kevin Bacon, according to us Kevin Bacon fans. And basically there's a cult of people who follow this one guy over here, who I think was like a college professor or something, I forgot his name, but basically they're all obsessed with Edgar Allan Poe. I think he was like a writer or something, and they were obsessed with him, they worshipped him religiously, and they worshipped Poe, and they would wear like these really weird looking Poe masks, right? It was kind of goofy, it sounds really dumb, but let me promise you, the goofiest nature of this show was really met well with how dark the show could be sometimes. It had some pretty solid writing, a lot of that soap opera-esque type stuff that makes horror shows good sometimes, like the Scream TV series. I don't remember it being overly gory or anything like that. I do remember that like every time you suspected somebody would be a decent good guy, they would turn out to be a bad guy. I think the one guy who played, I can't remember his name. Oh, by the way, Kevin Williamson created this. I forgot to tell you, from Scream, obviously. I can't remember the guy's name, but I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering this correctly, that one of Kevin Bacon's cohort cop people is the guy that played Iceman in the X-Men movies. I cannot remember his name to save my life, but he played Bobby in those films. I think he's in this too, if I remember correctly. I could be confusing it with something else, but really cool show if you haven't seen it before, but only watch season 1. Because when you get to the end of season 1 and you begin season 2 trying to figure out, well, how are they going to do anything else from season 2 onward, you're going to be so damn angry you have no idea. It was the most unreasonably angry I've ever been about something aside from Last Jedi. It was bullshit. So from season 2 onward, I did not watch the show. My mom and my grandmother did. They still liked it, but do not watch season 2 onward. It's bullshit. Kevin Williamson should be ashamed of himself. Anyway, moving along to the last thing I have right here, another TV season. This is one that I loved tremendously. I saw about half the season when it premiered on TV, and I just kind of fell out of it because I got CW burnout. But this is, and probably by me saying CW, you probably know what it is, also from Big Lots, iZombie Season 1. Dude, if you have not watched iZombie, you're missing out. I never saw the rest of the series. I heard it maintained a quality all the way through, so I may cover this at some point. But iZombie was such a great concept. It felt like something that would come from my personal favorite horror writer, Jonathan Mayberry. Basically, there's a young lady here who, at a party, got turned into a zombie. But for some reason, she's different. Most people that I remember vaguely. It's been a long time, like 7 years since the show started. Apparently, for whatever reason, she's a very different type of zombie. She doesn't just walk around in a Frankenstein manner and try to eat brains. But she is somebody who does autopsies. What is that called? Like a mortuary assistant? Something like that. I don't know. But she works at a mortuary or some kind of job where she does something like that. And basically, when she eats the brains of her patients, because she doesn't want to eat live, real, walking around healthy people, she eats the brains of dead people, and she begins to get things about their personality into her. Like, I remember one in particular example. She ate somebody who used to shoplift, and I think it was specifically red things or something like that, and she would begin to shoplift because of this influence from this brain that she ate. And it was kind of funny. It had some great humor in here. It was before CW went off the rails. This was in the good old days of the Arrowverse and Supernatural and all of that being so good. This is a blast of a show. Despite having not finished season 1, I can tell you the first half that I saw was a fucking blast, and I recommend it highly. I don't know if they're based on a book or anything, but dude, seriously, great show. I recommend it highly in case you haven't seen it before. But that is the end of the movie haul, DVD haul, Blu-ray haul, TV show haul, whatever we're calling this video. Thank you all for being here. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments about all of this stuff down below, and some of the questions I asked you too, like what the next movie series should be after the Final Destination stuff for this summertime reviews. I also thought about doing some standalone movie reviews, like Killer Clowns from Outer Space or something like that. But I haven't decided entirely yet, so let me know what your thoughts are on all of that down below. I'd love to hear everything you have to say. I guess that's everything I had to run by you. Thank you all for watching, guys, once again. God bless you all. Catch you later. What did you pick up recently, too? I'd love to hear your thoughts on your different horror movie grabs recently. Let me know all that. Thank you all once again. God bless you again, and goodbye.